I'm going to share with y'all a big tip here on this harmonic balancer pulley removal. Now, I have seen video after video after video of people struggling trying to get this crank bolt out. And I guess they've just never learned the trick, or they're scared to do it, or whatever. But I'm telling you, every single crank bolt I have ever taken out in my life, I've done the same way. I've never had an issue, and I've never struggled with one. And I simply take a socket and put it on here. Your engine turns clockwise, so you want to set your socket wrench to where you can loosen this. Okay, so you can see what I got going on here. So me knowing that the engine's going to spin clockwise, and I want to loosen this bolt, so I'm going to set it to where when I do this little trick, what I'm going to do is hit the starter, and the starter is going to spin this engine clockwise. When it does that, in order to loosen this bolt needs to go that way, right? So what I'm going to do is, I got my ratchet sitting here. I'm sorry, I got my breaker bar sitting here, and I got a cheater bar on it, and it's down hitting the concrete. So this isn't going to go anywhere. So when the starter spins, it's going to spin this engine, but this is going to sit still, which means all I'm going to do is bump my starter, and this thing's going to come right loose. There you have it. Okay, as you can see, I've loosened up that bolt quite a bit, but I didn't take it nowhere near all the way out. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put my 3-jaw puller, and I'm going to put it right here in the center of that bolt. And I'm going to pull that pulley out as far as I can get it, and then I'll loosen up that bolt some more, all the way to the end this time, and I'll finish pulling the pulley all the way out. Now, if that bolt won't give me enough to get the pulley all the way off the shaft, then I'll put a 3/8 extension in there. Here's my 3-jaw puller set up on the pulley. Okay, and as you can tell, there's not much room right here for a socket wrench. So I've just got a ratcheting wrench here, and I'm just going to tighten this up. It's hard looking through the camera. I'm just going to tighten this up, and as I tighten this up, it's going to pull this pulley away from the engine. Now, one thing to note is, using this type of puller on this type of pulley can break this pulley, because in between here and here, these two pulleys is rubber, and it is likely to break this, but you can't get your pulley, your 3-jaw puller, back behind this. And the holes, I'll have to show you when I get this pulley out, but the holes that you use the other type of puller with, they're not all that great. I've tried using the other puller with this, and I had no luck. So I'm going to pull it like this, and if I mess up this pulley, no big deal, I'll buy another one. They're $54. I've done quite a few of these Xteras. Now, what I like to do is put a little bit of tension on this pulley, and then spray some WD-40 back behind it. Now, as you can tell, this pulley has already broke right here. And this happens. This is, you know, that happens often. So if you decide that you want to pull the pulley this way, know that it is very likely that it will break. But it's also likely to break the other way, maybe less likely, I don't know, but I've never had any luck pulling it with the other puller, so this is the way I always do it. Alright, you can see how much room I've got back behind it now, and you can tell that it's coming out. But I just wanted to note, if you have the time to crack this bolt loose and take this bolt out, or, you know, loosen it like I did, and then spray some WD-40 back behind it, and spray some WD-40 back where the bolt's in, and wait a day, do that. Because if you do that, it's likely that you won't break your pulley. Also, you could go ahead and put your puller on there and just put a very slight amount of tension on it, pulling it out, and that would do you some good. And then that way, the next day when you come to it, you're less likely to break your pulley. I'm not going to promise you're not going to break it, because this is some chintzy metal. It breaks easy. I didn't have a whole lot of tension on that, but I'm used to it. Out of all the pulleys I've taken off these Xteros, it's probably like a 50-50 ratio of whether it's going to break or not. You just never can tell. Alright, so that's how far I got pulling it off with this bolt. And this bolt wouldn't give me all the space I need to get it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 3/8 extension and shove it in there so that I can pull this pulley the rest of the way off. Got a 3-inch extension put in there. And I'm going to put my jaw puller right in the middle of that extension. Here's the other holes I was telling you about that the other puller goes into. Little bitty bolts you thread into that thing, and me personally, I've never had any luck with that type of puller on these Xteros. The pulley is normally on there too tight for them little bitty bolts to work. That's what it looks like with the pulley off.